Have you ever felt like you were meant for more? Have you felt like you were just that something was going on in life that you were to achieve something great more than you're achieving now? Have you ever felt like you were stuck? Like you just couldn't reach the goals that you were trying to reach. You couldn't achieve the life that you were trying to achieve. You didn't know what your purpose was. You didn't know what your calling was. You were watching other people succeed and do great things, but you were wondering yourself, why not me? Why not me? Why can't I pull what's inside of me out? You can feel that excitement inside of you, but you just couldn't get to where you wanted to be. You lack purpose, you lack calling, you lack discipline, you lack those things that make other people great. Guys, I got to tell you, I can relate to you because I've been there. I've been where I'm like, I know there's something great inside of me. I know that God created me for more, that He created me to do something great in this world, to help this world go to another level, to help other people go to another level. But for some reason, it was just, I felt like I was, for lack of better words, I was stuck. And again, I was seeing other people just pass me by. They were doing things, and I'm like, God, why? Why not me? When is my turn coming? Right? So if you feel that way now, or if you felt that way in the past, this video is going to help you overcome those things, show you some tips and tricks on how you can get unstuck, find your purpose, find your calling, find your why, extract the superpower that you have inside of you. And so you can go on and do great and mighty things. Guys, I'm Andre, and it's my honor to be your host on this video. Driven Success Podcast. It's exciting time for me. So I want to jump in right now and help you guys see that you too, with a little help, get unstuck, find your purpose, and then man, it's sky's the limit at that time. So let's jump in. I remember when I was trying to find what my purpose was. I was like, man, I'm so excited. I know God created me to do some great things. I knew God created me in His image because His word said He did. And I'm like, God, if you created me, I know that you didn't create me just to have me here, that you created me to do something great. And I knew that purpose was there. And I knew I had to find where that purpose was and what that purpose was. And I remember spending time praying and asking God, like, God, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And then I would ask elders, like I have one mentor. This man was a true man sent from God. He meant so much to me. And he was filled with wisdom. But I was talking to him about this topic of purpose and calling. And he told me that he was at the time, he was in his late 60s. And he said, you know what? I don't know if I've ever figured out what my calling and my purpose was. And guys, when I say that this guy was like my hero and he was up there, I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't even know what his purpose and calling is. And I'm like, okay, so I was determined to figure out what this thing was, what this purpose was. And guys, I got to tell you, I spent a lot of time in the Word of God reading. I spent a lot of time researching. I spent a lot of time trying to figure this thing out so I can figure out what it is that I need to do to find my purpose. And in reading the Word of God, I felt something and I saw something that kept coming up more and more and more and more. And I figured out the grand purpose for every man, for every woman. It's two things. The grand overall purpose for each one of us. We're sent here to serve God. To love God and to serve our fellow man. To love God and to serve our fellow man. And guys, I got to tell you, if you want to serve God, you love your brother, your neighbor. That is so big to God. And if you're serving your neighbor and you're loving on them, they can see God in you. So that is the overarching reason that you are here on this earth, is to love God and serve man. Serve your neighbor, serve your family, serve your coworker, serve your church member, serve your children, serve your spouse. That is the reason that we're here, is to love God and to serve other people. Now, if you want to break it down even more, like I said, that's the grand overarching thing. That's the reason, that's the purpose that we're all here. But what I found is we have to figure out what our specific calling and purpose is in our vocation or in our career or our life. So that's what most people, when they say purpose, that's what they're asking for. They're not asking for that overarching thing. But here's the thing: your overarching thing dictates your career. It dictates your vocation. So everybody needs to realize that if you're not doing those first two things first, there's no reason for it. You trying to figure out what your vocation or career going to be, because whatever you do, you need to serve other people. That being said, so your purpose may be that you're called, that you're supposed to be in the medical field. Okay, you may be called to be in the medical field, but your calling is to be an OBGYN. Your calling may be to be a nurse. Your calling may be to be a doctor, a general doctor that goes out to other countries and serves the underprivileged. Your calling may be that you're a teacher, but your purpose may be to be a teacher, but your calling is that you're a math teacher, that you're a college professor, that you're a principal. You might find your groove in being a coach and teacher. Your purpose, of course, is to serve the students of that place or that school, that institution. But your specific calling may be to be a math teacher. So how many of you guys know that a math teacher may not excel in being a gym teacher, or a gym teacher may not excel in being a math teacher? So we have specific callings inside of our overarching purpose. Our purpose is to be inside of the school system, but our calling is to be a part of the math department, the science department. Like, you may be called to be a salesperson. Your purpose may be to be a salesperson, but your calling is that you are an insurance agent, that you're a realtor, that you are outside sales rep, go to B2B. So guys, we got to understand that when we find our overall purpose is to love God and serve man, but then our under purpose is what area do you flourish in? What area is your heart beating for? And then inside of that, you want to take it a little farther, and that's what your calling is. Your calling says that you're called to this specific area. I'll give you one more example. You may be felt that your purpose is to be in the ministry. But how many of you know that everybody's not called in the ministry to be in the pulpit? You know, you might be a missionary, or you may be in the choir, or you may be a teacher of the word. You know, you might be someone who's just a street minister. It goes out into the street. That is your specific calling, and that is what wakes you up in the morning, ready to go. That wakes you up in the morning, that pushes that drive, that make you driven to do what it is that you're doing. So guys, again, you got to make sure that you do your overarching purpose, then your specific purpose, and that specific purpose will then lead you to your calling. Okay, so I developed this framework, guys, and I should have told you this earlier, but this framework is all about making sure that you find your purpose, and then you find your calling, then you find out what your why is, and then you extract that superpower that's inside of you to make sure that you're doing, man, great and phenomenal things. You know, there's nothing more frustrating in knowing that something's in your heart. That knowing that something that's inside of you is just waiting to burst, waiting to sprout out good fruit and just go out and attack the world. But it's also just the opposite. If you don't take a hold of these things that we're talking about today, man, you can go through life like my mentor was saying. He did great things, but he said he didn't know if he ever quenched that thirst that was inside of him. He didn't know if he ever figured it out about what his true specific purpose and calling was. And that hurt my heart, man. That made me go and say, I have to figure this out. I cannot live my life any longer not knowing what it is that I was called to do. So I went on, I figured it, I figured these things out, what I just told you. You got to find your purpose, you got to find your calling, you got to find out what your why is, and you have to figure out what your superpower is, that talent that God gave you that we're going to talk about here in a second. But we've gone through purpose, we've gone through callings. Now, the fire that lights up that calling is your why. Why do you want to be a math teacher? Why do you want to be a scientist? Why do you want to be a musician? Why do you want to be a street minister in the ministry? That why, if you can figure that out, and we have here at our coaching program, we have a great way to extract that out of you, to help you figure out what that true why is. We've taken students through this, and it's amazing how emotional they get when they finally bust that open and they see that is why I feel that thing just want to burst out of me. Guys, if you find your why, you will find your fuel to get up every morning. If you find your why, you'll figure out, I need to do this and I have to do this. You'll spend the time, you spend the resources needed to help you become the person that you know that you're designed and that you're called to be. But everybody's why is different. Now you can go through this process and get a prayer journal and just write it down, go to God and ask him, spend time with him, fast, pray, figure it out. And you will find out what your why is. It takes some people longer than others. Like I said, when we go through our 7 levels deep process inside of our coaching program, people find their calling and their why like that. So sometimes we need help. Sometimes we have to invest in ourselves to figure out those things. But I'm going to tell you, it is worth whatever it is that you're paying or whatever it is that you're giving up or whatever it is that you're going to do. If you can find that thing that drives you, if you can find that thing that gets you unstuck and says, hey, man, I want to figure out what my life is all about. There's nothing more sad to me than someone that has something deep inside of them. They know that they're meant for something great. And then they never extract it. They never pull it out of them. They never get it out of them. They leave, unfortunately, they leave this earth with all of that greatness inside of them. And that's not what I want from you guys. Here at Driven Success, we want you to see goodness today. We want you to see greatness today on this earth. And guys, I got to tell you, the foundation of all that starts with finding your purpose, finding your calling, finding your why, and then extracting your superpower. So I keep talking about this superpower. What is that? What is a superpower? What are you naturally gifted at? What is it that people call you for advice on? What do you study? If I was to pull up your history on YouTube, what videos are you watching more than anything? What is it that you don't even have to study, but if somebody call you, you can talk about it for hours because it's something natural inside of you. That's what I call a superpower, because we all know the story of the talents in the Bible. You know, one was given 5, 3, and then 1. 5, 3, 5, 3, 1. And the one that had 1, he was so scared to lose it, he wouldn't even push it out to the world and make something happen with it. But the one that was given more, he took a chance. He took a chance on himself. He took that talent and he made it better. So I know they were talking about money at the time, but it's the same thing with your physical talent. What are you doing with what God gave you? What are you hiding from? Why aren't you letting the world see that you are great, that you have something to offer? You know, what I see so sadly so many times is that we allow other people in their criticism or we think they're going to criticize us, right? We think that they're going to do this and they're going to say that. But in reality, a lot of people just stop because of those things. They say that what people may do. But friend, let me tell you this. If you want to live a great life, if you want to live a life in abundance, if you want to live life to the full until it overflows, like Jesus said he came to give us, you got to get over what people think. You got to get over what people are going to say. I don't want to record anything because people may talk about me. I don't want to write anything because people may talk about my grammar, or they may say that I talk country or I do this. You may not want to sing in front of a crowd. You may not want to pray in front of people. You may not want to do great things because you are so critical of what people are going to say about you. Let me tell you this. Those people are and should be of no concern. Those people should not even matter in your life. Because here's the thing, we all know the story or the analogy about the crabs in the bucket. No one wants to see somebody else succeed, so they're going to try to hold you back. What I am telling you today is, if you find your superpower, and if your superpower is singing, man, sing as loud and proud as you can. If your superpower is a motivational person, motivate people as powerful as you can. If your superpower is you can know how to organize, man, press record on this video and show people how you organize. Your gift will make room for you. Your gift the world needs. That's your overall purpose, right? Is to serve people. Money comes when you serve people. Growth comes when you serve people. You have to get past what the critics may say. And let me give you one great tip on getting past what critics may say about what you're doing. Y'all ready? Write this down. Write this down. If you don't want to get past what critics say about you, if you want to amplify your life without worrying about what people may say or how they may comment, follow this one simple step. Stop being a critic. Stop judging others. Stop being negative. Stop saying negative things about other people. Because the Bible tells us the same measure of judgment that we put on other people will be put on us. What? So you mean to tell me if I want to stop being judged, I should just stop judging? That's exactly what I'm telling you. Stop judging other people and you'll stop being judged. And if you are judged, it should roll off your back because you don't care. You're doing something great for the world. You're doing something great for your family. You're doing something great for you. Right? So let's review them again, guys. You got to find that overarching. We already know that. That's everybody watching this video. That overarching purpose is for you to serve, love God and serve man. Love God and serve your fellow man. Be that person that stands out in the crowd, that when people see you coming, they like, you know what? I love that guy. He just has a certain spirit about him that I know I can trust him. Then if I can trust him, I know that I can grow with him. I can have a relationship with that person. When people start feeling that way about your overarching purpose, then they'll accept your call. They'll accept the calling that you have. How many of you gone to a doctor and you didn't feel easy about that doctor, right? That doctor was in his purpose, but he wasn't maximizing his purpose and calling. But when you trust a person, you can feel that person cares for you. When you go to that doctor's appointment, you may be nervous, but you trust the doctor that you're going to see that he's going to take the best care of you. Right? So guys, your calling, your purpose, your superpower, your why, all those things go into play. And that's the foundation that we use when we take our clients from stuck to successful. The foundation is we have to help them find those 4 elements. If they don't find those 4 elements, we can't go to the next 2 steps in the process of being driven. A person that wants more out of life, a person that needs more out of life, a person that's not going to settle until they get more out of life. So, guys, in our coaching program, we use this formula. And the first step of that formula is to be confident in your purpose. Be confident in your purpose. But you can't be confident in that purpose, that calling, that why, until you lay the foundation down and say, enough is enough. And I'm going to make sure that I figure out why I'm here. I'm going to cut everything else out. And I'm going to go all in on figuring these things out. Guys, when I talk about this, even when I'm talking to my clients, I get so excited because, so many people never figure this out. So many people never figure out what their purpose, their calling, their superpower, and their why. They never figure those things out. And they live a life below what they actually could live, right? They don't exceed their God-given calling in this world. They just teeter around, and never figure it out. But not you. That's the good news. You're watching this video. You're going to go and do some great things. I want you to watch this video again, and I'm going to give you some homework or some next steps. I want you to take 5 minutes. I got this written down, guys, so rewrite this down. Write down what excites you, what lights you up, what gets you going in the morning, what gets you a point when you're off work, you go back to it again. Write down what that is. Then write down what naturally comes to you. What naturally happens that you don't have to put any study in it. You don't have to put any effort into it. It just naturally exudes out of you. People come to you for advice on those things. And guys, if you say that, I don't have it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Your talent is there. Your gifting is there. Don't minimize what it is. Write it down. What problems are you passionate about solving? When you hear it, you instantly want to jump in and rescue the person that's going through it. When you see a friend struggling in that area, you're right there on Johnny on the spot, ready to help them get unstuck. Guys, this is the beginning of finding your purpose, finding your calling, finding your why, finding your superpower. Write those few things down and go over them over and over again. Subscribe to this podcast. We're going to keep talking about purpose, calling, why, and superpower. We're going to have videos about the next step. Just to tell you guys, our steps are, step 1 is discovering your purpose, your calling, your why, and your superpower. Step 2 is believe in those things after you discover what they are. And we teach you through steps about how you can become a person who believes in what God has put inside of them. And then the last step is, after you get those foundations, you start climbing that ladder. We start talking about how you can be successful in your life and in those things that we talked about in the discovery stage. So guys, we have a process. And when we deal with your spirit, we deal with your physical body, and your mental body. We got it here for you because we want to help. We're here to serve you, and we know when we serve you, God is pleased with our actions. So here at Under Ferrell Coaching, the Driven Podcast, we want to help you. So the notes that we just gave you, we want to make sure that you take a few minutes, write down what excites you, what comes natural, and what problems are you passionate about serving. Write them down in the comments here. Let us know, being inspired by what you come up with. Go to the comments. Let us know. Send us a DM on Instagram to let us know what you're thinking. If you need a few pointers, DM us. We'll get there, and we're going to try to help as many people as possible. But if you can do one great thing, that is to subscribe to this podcast and share this channel with someone that you love that's struggling, that you can sense that they have greatness inside of them. They may be stuck right now, but send them this video, share this video with them to let them know that there's someone out there who wants to help you find who you are and why you're supposed to be here and maximize that effort. Guys, it's been such a blessing to bring this message to you. I got to make sure that I always tell you that it is a pleasure for you to tune into this channel, for you to invest in yourself, and for you to invest your trust inside of me. I love you guys so much. Until next time, stay blessed and stay driven.